From Victoria Pedretti's second chance to Penn Badgley not even knowing what Instagram is.
Guilty.
Watch the most revealing behind-the-scenes secrets of Netflix's You. Alright, let's take you right back to the start of Season 1. Beck was Joe's obsession.
I'm hoping this is just a stage.
He couldn't get enough of her, eventually deciding if he can't have her, then no one will. Well, for actress Elizabeth Lail, she wasn't too pleased by what happened to her character in the season finale. And she aired her frank disappointment to Radio Times, saying, "The unfortunate thing is, the woman doesn't win in the end, and I'm so sick and tired of that." Though, she had to admit that the ending was far more likely to be the truth of what would happen to someone like Beck. Funny enough, Elizabeth wasn't familiar with the source material before auditioning for the part either. Once she got a call back, she started to do her research and discovered what Beck's ultimate fate would be. Still, she thought that the show might subvert expectations and allow her character to survive, but alas, it wasn't meant to be. But hey, at least she didn't get choked with the pages of the Da Vinci Code like the novel's version of Beck did. While Elizabeth might be unhappy about the treatment of women in You, the producers have done everything possible to empower the females working on the show behind the scenes. In fact, more than half of the show's episodes have been directed by women such as Silvertree, Sherry Nolan, Mira Meenan, and Shannon Coley. Showrunner Sarah Gamble also believes that while You is a story about a dangerous stalker who harms women, there's actually a bigger, much deeper message about being alert to many self-proclaimed male feminists and allies. Speaking to the New York Times, Sarah said, "It's a red flag. That's what we get to explore through Joe, who genuinely believes he's a feminist and a good man. His actions come from a deep place of entitlement because he's confident that he should be helping Beck, though he hasn't asked her if she wants help." According to Sarah, Joe believes his actions are justifiable, which makes him much more terrifying, and his red flags are the kind that everyone should steer clear from. That explanation makes you look at the show from a different perspective now, doesn't it? Moving on to the star of the show, did you know that Penn Badgley was always the first choice for the part of Joe? Executive producers Greg Berlanti and Sarah Gamble only had him in mind and courted him right from the beginning. However, Penn actually wasn't interested in Joe at all. It took a bit of convincing to get him on board, as he felt a moral conflict towards the character and his overall shadiness. Also, he couldn't help but notice the similarities between Joe and his other famous role, Dan Humphrey from Gossip Girl. In an interview, Penn said the following, "Joe ends up being a meta-progression of Dan Humphrey that makes me wildly uncomfortable, but also right at home." Penn revealed that after conversations with the producers, he was able to overcome any doubts he had and fully committed himself to the part. Good thing that he did, because can you imagine anyone else but him as Joe Goldberg?
Yeah, well, that's impossible.
But it's important to draw the line between Penn and Joe, because they're nothing alike. For one, the actor isn't a stalker because, yeah, ain't nobody got time for method acting here. And two, he's actually pretty terrible at social media, so it's unlikely that he'd even know how to find anyone online. And this juicy detail was revealed by none other than his co-star Shay Mitchell, who played Peach in Season 1. She joked that he didn't even know what Instagram or Tumblr were before joining the show. Penn confirmed that he really doesn't have much time for social media, saying, "It was not the most fulfilling or meaningful contribution that I could make as an individual seeking to better the world." He added that when he did join the platforms in the past, he found himself worried about retweets and likes, and this caused him more harm than good. Well, tell us, where is the lie here? In a show filled with many memorable moments and sequences, Penn revealed that there's one that stood head and shoulders above the rest for him, and it took place in Season 2. The scene in question is the part where Joe and 40 take LSD and start to hallucinate in a wicked way.
That sounds terrible.
It was an extremely physical show and evoked instant memories of Leonardo DiCaprio's wild performance in The Wolf of Wall Street. Speaking about the scene to BuzzFeed, Penn said, "It's actually the most fun for me. I think because it was the most physical, the most strange and maniacal." He added that there were a lot of stunts filmed for it, but they ultimately didn't make the final cut of the episode. So, are we going to start a petition to release the director's cut here, or what? Because come on, who doesn't want to see Joe and 40 get extra weird for a little bit longer? While we're on the topic of Season 2, everyone remembers the introduction of Love Quinn. She certainly turned the show on its head, but Victoria Pedretti almost had another entirely different role in the series. Turns out that she actually auditioned for the part of Beck in Season 1. And she was pretty close to getting it too. However, the producers decided to go with Elizabeth instead, while Victoria ended up going on to do The Haunting of Hill House. In some form of powerful kismet, Victoria's role as Nell on the horror series actually helped her land the part of Love. In an interview with Entertainment Tonight, she revealed the following: I think they thought I might be a good fit for it after having seen me in Haunting, which I think is kind of funny because Nell and Love are nothing alike. But then I did a chemistry test with Penn in Los Angeles, and then we decided maybe we should make something work out. And thankfully, it did. Of course, when mentioning Love, you can't help but remember her shocking character turn in Season 2. No one could have predicted that she would end up having the same killing tendencies as her significant other. Yet, here we are. Considering Penn being the star of the show, you'd think that he would have been aware of Love's character arc from the very start, or at least when Season 2 was being written. But he wasn't. He found out about the twist immediately after his audition with Victoria. He said, and then Greg Berlanti just said, "Do you want to know?" And I said, "Yeah, that'd help." And he's like, "Alright, so she's a killer." Though Penn admits that he thought it'd turn into a Bonnie and Clyde kind of story where Joe and Love would go on a joint killing spree. He didn't know that his character would disapprove of his girlfriend being a killer. That's so typical of Joe. Such a hypocrite.
Maybe I should run.
The whole concept of You is dark and scary, but for author Caroline Kepnes, it was a cathartic story. After her father was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, she left Los Angeles to go back home and help her mother take care of him. Sadly, her father passed away, so Caroline wrote You as a way to cope with his loss. She tapped into her time as a student taking a psychology class at Yale University. When she arrived back home, she encountered her own version of Joe Goldberg. Caroline told Glamour magazine, "I got home from the program and I started getting scary calls from a stalker. It stayed with me that at that moment of my life as a young woman, this strange man was scaring the daylights out of me." Wow. Thankfully, Caroline's story didn't end up like some of Joe's other victims. If you're feeling extra inquisitive now, but not stalkerish because that's bad, why not check out our video about Netflix's hit show Squid Game and all its hidden messages? And while you're at it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and stay awesome!